last speaker received 6 letters in basketball, football, and track. He earned all league, all Catholic, all Metro, and Dream Team honors in basketball. He was chosen as one of McDonald's on one of the All-American teams. He was a Street and Smith All-American. He was a runner-up in Mr. Basketball to one of his former teammates and business partners, Matt Skaginga. Mike was awarded a full athletic scholarship to Michigan State University, where he was a member of the 89-90 Big Ten champions. He was a member of the 1990 Pan American team, and he played in the NBA. He was drafted in the second round, and he was in the NBA, and he played for 5 teams, one of them being the Detroit Pistons. He played in Europe for FC Barcelona, and he was one of the inaugural inductees into the De La Salle Collegiate Hall of Fame in 2000. No one wears number 54 because we retired it because of Mike's tremendous accomplishments. A 1988 graduate, Mike Peplowski.
Good morning. I too am going to address the young men in this room because at one time, not that long ago, even though I'm 48 years old, I sat where you sat. So I'm going to start from something that my father, who's here, gave to me, that I hang on my office wall, and I make my employees read it. Every day, it's right by the light switch. And I wish I had it memorized, but I have it written down. And it's a famous speech from my favorite historical character. It was given April 23rd, 1910. And it's an excerpt from that speech, and it's called Man in the Arena. Some of you may know it. But it goes something like this. It's not the critic that counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error or shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deeds, who knows great enthusiasms, the great devotions, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place, your place, all of our places, shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory or defeat. So I have a question for all of you young men. How many athletes are in the room? Raise your hands. A lot of hands. How many competitors are in the room? Every single one of your hands should be raised. Every one. Because what I'm going to tell you today are some things that I've learned along the way. And guys, the man in the arena has absolutely nothing to do with sports. It has to do with life, which you are about to embark on. So, if you take nothing away from what I'm about to tell you today, I want you to remember this. Think about where you're at right now, January 8th, 2019. And January 9th, put in your calendars, 2020. Make yourself a reminder and think about where you are then. And take a moment and look back and see how much you've grown from being a senior in high school to what I would imagine most of you will be freshmen in college. Most of you will belong to a campus organization, maybe a fraternity. You'll make new friends, you'll drift apart, and you'll try and stay in touch. But while you do this, what I would really like for you to remember is just a couple easy things. that comes from that famous speech, The Man in the Arena. Every day, you guys need to wake up with a purpose. What is your purpose in your day, in your life? You're going to describe the what that you're going to do. Once you figure out what the what is, ask yourself why. Why are you doing what you're doing? Why am I here doing what I'm doing, talking to you? I'm here because I care, because I was asked, and I'm honored to be here. Figure out your why, guys. The why is the most important thing. The why gets you out of bed. The why makes you take the next step. The why gets the deal done, day in, day out. What doesn't really matter. The what may be money. The what may be making the team, making the shot. But the why that you do it. Why do you do it? I do what I do. And God bless my father who's here, who told me this a long time ago. The reason why I do what I do, it's very simple. Because somebody told me I couldn't. That's my only why. To prove someone wrong. And I do it every day. Mr. Matar talked about failure. What I would challenge you gentlemen, forget failure. Think about risk. The risk of failure. The risk of looking stupid. The risk of embarrassing yourself. Taking that risk. Take a risk every day. Pull yourself out of that comfort zone. Dare to fail. I have a philosophy in my company. If you're not failing, you will be fired because you're not doing your job. The worst decision you could ever make is no decision at all. That's how people get hurt. Take a risk, guys. You'll be amazed at what you can accomplish. If it doesn't work, take another risk. What do you got to lose? You're 17 years old. You got your whole life to make up for it. Approach everything that you do with enthusiasm. You'll accomplish nothing without it. How many times do you guys hear about people that, I hate my job? Well, do something about it. Approach something with enthusiasm. How many guys here on the football team? When you came running out to play, were you enthused? Imagine finding that in everyday life. If you do, amazing things will happen to you. You guys got cell phones on you? Pull them out. Go to the calculator function. We're going to do some math. Because the next thing is about being prepared. I'm going to share a little example with you. I started taking basketball very seriously when I was about 14 years old. Okay? So every coach in the world will say, hey, you've got to shoot 1,000 shots every day. That's ridiculous. Doesn't happen. So what I did is I had a little bargain with myself. I said, instead of shooting 1,000 shots every day, I'm going to make 500. Make 500. And it's not every day, guys. Not even close. There's 365 days in a year, right? So Mr. Esser said I played basketball at Michigan State. I did. Redshirted my first year, was there for 5 years. So from age 14 to 22, which doesn't even count professional, my professional career. I pretty much factored this out, told it to my kids. 250 days a year, so type in 250, multiply that by 500. Should come up to 125,000, right? So that's 250 days, 500 makes a year. Multiply that by 8 years. Comes up to plus or minus 1 million, right? 8 years. Make 1 million shots. Well, let's say you guys don't believe me. Okay, subtract it by 250,000. 750,000, right? 750,000 makes over the course of 8 years, so I could average at Michigan State 8.8 attempts per game. And guess what, guys? I only played 114 games at Michigan State. So what I implore you to do, be prepared. Opportunity will knock, and you better be ready, because it doesn't knock very often. One of the hardest things that we all have to do, as adults, as young men, as anybody, is ask for help. I implore you, gentlemen, whenever possible, to ask for help. I love what Mr. Matar said, and I'm going to give you guys words of wisdom right now. Never forget this. You will never learn to catch fish from someone your own age. Think about that. The best fishermen in the world, way older than me, way older than you. Find somebody with experience, latch onto them, ask them for help. You'd be amazed at what people will do for you if you simply ask. And if you approach it with enthusiasm, with purpose, and know your why, amazing things will happen. I'm going to shock you guys a little bit, because this is the cold, hard truth. This world, our world, owes you nothing. Not one thing. You are entitled to nothing. You are going to have to, very shortly, every day, get up and earn it. You're going to go off to college, you're going to be by yourself. You will have to earn it every day. Keep in mind, guys, you will never get out of it any more than you put into it. There is no magic formula for success. You will fail miserably. You will embarrass yourselves. You have to have a short memory, because the world doesn't care. Doesn't care about you. Your parents do. They sent you here. My parents did. They sent me here. The world owes you nothing. And by the way, guys, you don't have to conquer the world. You just have to conquer yours. And it's up to each and every one of you to figure out what your world is. You can make it as big or as small as you want. The choice is yours. Lastly, you must, before you leave here today, you must have gratitude. Every day, you have to be thankful. You can thank the Lord. You might want to start with thanking your parents. Because I got to tell you something. I grew up on the east side of Detroit. If it wasn't for Jerry and Diane sitting in the front row, I was going to Jared W. Finney High School, gladiator school. And I was fortunate enough for them to sacrifice to have me come to De La Salle, which allows me to have wonderful people say great things about me. But more importantly, it allows me to accomplish my why, to give back to you guys, to say, there is no formula. There is no magic formula. It's about hard work, guys. And you have to be grateful for every day you have a chance to do it. It's not about the result. It's about the process. Enjoy the precious present, because your days are numbered. Pretty soon you're going to go off, and you're going to go off into your own worlds, and you're going to make your own way. I'm grateful for my father. I'm grateful for my mother. I'm very proud that they're here to listen to me talk, and to say to all of you guys, the men sitting in this front row, our great motto, the great motto of our school, which means builders of boys, and you're boys. You're soon to be men. Builders of boys, makers of men. We have all stood on the shoulders of giants to get to where we are. I have. Nobody does this on their own. Embrace one another. Look out for one another. And hopefully, maybe one day, if you're lucky, like Mr. Matar said, someone from your old high school will call you and ask you to give one of these addresses to the next future of this country. And hopefully at that time, you'll do what I did. Say yes. And you'll say, you want my help? Just ask. But remember this, you want my help? You gotta show up. Because nothing's free, guys. The world owes you nothing. But there are people in this world that would bend over backwards to help you. And it's evident by all of you sitting in this room. So I'd like to thank you for having me talk to you. I'm not going anywhere. If you guys want to come up and introduce yourself, I'd love to meet you, find out where you're going to school. If you're coming up to Michigan State, I own an apartment building right on MAC. Stop in, say hi. I'd love to talk to you. I wish you the best of luck and the best of your remaining senior year. Thank you.